Hello, it's Greg Watford again, and welcome to this video called The Pros and Cons from Working from Home. Now, if you're looking to start a business from home, an internet marketing business, for example, you've come to the right place. Because stay with me while we look at the pros and cons, because I think that you'll be a bit surprised about what I've come up with. Okay, now before we start, just a couple of things. One is when I say working from home, I don't mean, let's say, a carpenter or a plumber or an electrician or even lawn mowing business. In other words, yes, you do have an office at home, but you work off-site, as it were, on other people's premises. Now, I don't mean that sort of business. What I'm talking about is a business where you've got an office already set up at home, and from that office, you generate all the income. So before we launch into the pros and cons of doing that, look, I'll just give you a bit of background, just tell you a couple of stories. Now, I've covered some of this in another video called 3 Key Points to running a home-based business. Just check in my YouTube channel and you'll find that. But basically, just very quickly, I started working life in the government. And after a while, I ended up in working in Sydney in a high-rise office block with the suit and tie bit, as it were. And Sydney back in those days, this is a long time ago, as a matter of fact, and Sydney back in those days, you couldn't afford to buy in Sydney as a young couple. No, you'd have to buy on the perimeter, way out, commuting distance, as it were. So we ended up buying out of town, and I had a 2-hour commute door to door via train into the big smoke. And I did that for about 3 years, and I looked at my boss and thought, am I going to end up looking like that in another 10 or 20 years? I thought no, and with Wendy's encouragement, I decided to start a business from home. So I did that in my spare time, what little spare time I had. And I worked every night on that business in our spare bedroom, and also, but mostly all weekend. And only got about 4 hours sleep a night at home, and then I made up for the other, what I was missing on the train. And one of it was actually a paradigm shift for me to do all this, because Wendy and I had been brought up in Brisbane, which back in those days was a big country town. Even though it was a full-blown city, it was really a big country town, and no one really commuted because it was just distances weren't that great. So we ended up in Sydney, and one of the things, the images that I'll never forget is standing on a cold platform. The uniform was dark, by the way, the coat up around his shoulders, the rain is coming in, the wind is blowing, the lights all the way down the platform are casting these eerie shadows, no one speaking, and these figures walking around like zombies and ready to actually get on the train. And of course, once you're on the train, there was this little ritual that everybody had to follow. What was some of the things? Well, you shouldn't encroach in anybody's space. So there's about 1,000 people on these trains, and they go about every 15 minutes. And people are reading the paper, crouched up in their little area, because there's about 5 across the carriage. And one of the ones is when you fall asleep, you're not allowed to actually drop your head on the person next to you. So it's okay to drop it up or down or back, yep, and everybody slept, and you don't speak because you caused a noise and wake these other people up. And I look back now and laugh, but it was pretty horrific. And these blank faces, these zombies, as I call them, were going into, a million of them would descend upon Sydney CBD, work there all day, and then leave like ants, and then come back the next day. It was really strange. Anyhow, a lot of people do it. I don't know whether you can relate to that. Are you a commuter? And if you commute anything less than 2 hours or 2.5 hours, good on you. That was fine and good. So the point is that I did that, and I confirmed after 6 months of working the business at night my home-based business at night and doing my day job during the day. After 6 months, I confirmed that yes, it was going to be viable. Then I quit my job. So that was the background. That was my first business, and I took that business out into the workplace, built it up, had employees, and ultimately sold it, and it's still going today. So yeah, so that was my first venture into home, or into businesses in general, and home-based businesses in particular. So for about the last 15 years, Wendy and I have worked from home, and in various businesses. And right now we're into internet marketing. We actually love internet marketing. One of the quirky things, by the way, is with Wendy and I, is we've got two separate offices. Even though we've been working together all these years, and we can't work together in the same office, not very well. So we've always had two separate offices, and now and then we Skype one another and email one another rather than calling out. And in one of our houses, we even had a PABX, so we had extensions in every room. We could ring one another on the extension. So let's now have a look at the pros and cons. But firstly, the positives. And as I said in the beginning, you may find that some of these are a little bit, outside the square, as it were. So, but I had a bit of a think about it. What attracted me, or what do I like about running a business from home, and what don't I like about running a business from home? Look, the main thing is, because I'm what's called choleric, and if you've checked out my videos called Who Are You, Part 1 and 2, so just have a look in the my channel, my YouTube channel. You'll find them there. So I'm what's called a choleric. Choleric is a controller, and wants to do things and tell people what to do and things like that. I tell myself what to do. I like to control my own time, and this is the number one big plus for working from home. No one is telling me when and where I should be working, and that is a fantastic feeling, to actually control your own time. So, for example, if some friends drop by for lunch, yes, you can go out for lunch. You sort of fit it in, and yes, you're going to work another couple of hours extra at night to make up for it. But that's all right. You're in control of your own time. Associated with that, in controlling time, is the fact that you can interact with your family more. So instead of just obviously leaving home, going to work, and then coming back 8 or 9 hours later, you're actually home, and you can, especially if you've got young kids, you can interact with them. So if you're a stay-at-home mum or a stay-at-home dad, no babysitting problems, and you can work on your business when the kids are either at school or maybe asleep or whatever. So you're there to pick them up from school. You're there to give them lunch if you've got little toddlers at home, etc. So you can interact with your family and build your business in between them and your responsibilities with the kids. Another one is the clothes. For example, I'm in my working uniform. It's casual clothes, and for all you know, I've got slippers on my feet, so it doesn't really matter what sort of clothes you're wearing. So if you can wear comfortable clothes, you don't have to wear some sort of a uniform. Here's a bit of a quirky one. It's other employees. You don't have to work with other people. Now, it can be a big plus. You can't choose your family, and you can't choose who you work with when you've got a job with someone. But you can choose your friends, of course. So what I found in the past, I'll tell you one more story about how I ended up in an office working with some other people shortly. But I cast my mind back all those years ago. I had no control who I worked with. An obvious advantage of working from home, of course, is the fact that there's no commuting, and you can take that time that you were commuting and put it into your business. Where Wendy and I live, we're only just a couple of 100 metres from our shops, post office, banks, and there's some weeks that we never even get the car out of the garage. We don't have to, and it's terrific to be able to do that. Not only is it cost saving in transportation, but the actual time that I previously spent in commuting, or would have spent in commuting, is now directed into my business. It's one of the huge advantages of running a business at home. Okay, the last one is that I've come up with is the income. The income is derived directly from your performance. It's performance-based income. So the harder you work, the more you get paid. The more efficient that you work, the harder you get paid. That in itself is a pretty awesome way to work. Now, if you're perhaps in real estate, you may be working on commission, or if you're in a sales position, you may be working on commission. That's performance-based income, and you may be used to it. But a lot of people are not. A lot of people, they work the 9 to 5 for the man. At the end of the week, they put their hand out for their paycheck. Well, it goes directly in the bank nowadays, and it doesn't. What they receive in their weekly pay is not dependent upon how they actually perform during the week. They may have had a bit of a bad week, and you still get the same money. With performance-based income, is the better you work, the more you get paid, and that's a real plus. Okay, so now let's have a look at the negative side of working from home, the cons. One of the major ones is it's lonely. Now, personally, with Wendy and I, because we've been working together for so long and we're such good friends and business colleagues as well as husband and wife, this is no problem to me personally. But I know a lot of people find that if they've had their whole working life with other employees, other colleagues, and then all of a sudden they go and switch off, or they're in 4 walls and they're on their own, they find it difficult. This is especially if your personality style is what's called a sanguine, a bit of a party person, likes talking with people, interacting, and all of a sudden this is actually switched off. So you're running your home-based business and you've got no one to talk to. So, and that can impact the way you think and your performance in your work. So that's something to consider. You can overcome this by having outlets you could join the Chamber of Commerce, or you could join the Women's Breakfast, business women's breakfast club, or whatever it may be in your area, such that on a weekly basis, once a week, that you go and get out and rub shoulders with people of your ilk. So that's one way to overcome that. But just be aware of it. It can be very lonely. Now, with the type of business that we're running, which is an affiliate marketing business, we don't feel that because we're interacting directly with other affiliates. So we do that via Skype, or we do it by the phone, we do it by email, and by text. So there's always interaction during the week. So we have no problems there with that. Here's one that's a bit different. It's a uniform. Now, if you've gone to work and you wear a uniform, so you've got a sales uniform, or if you work in a factory or whatever sort of job, and you normally put on work clothes to go to work, that impacts you psychologically, such that you only tend to work well if you've got your uniform on. Now, you may even work in an office and you've still got a uniform. For men, it's a tie, business shirt, maybe a suit even. For women, there's a business clothing that's acceptable, and you put that on every day, and that, as I said, becomes your trigger. So when you start working from home and you're wearing casual, comfortable clothes, initially it's going to impact the way you think. It's going to take you out of your comfort zone, and you may not be working at your peak. So just be aware of that. Look, there was an author that I came across. I can't remember his name. No, can't remember his name, but I can remember the story. He wrote the book, one of his books, all of his books, in a suit. And he would go into his office and spend 4 hours every day, or whatever time it was almost a ritual. So he would go to work and he would sit there and type away in a suit and tie. And then he would finish his work for the day and then go and take it off. That's how he produced his books, his manuscripts, and that's how he worked at his peak performance. It was part of this ritual. It was a trigger. So working from home, just be aware of it. Working from home, and you all of a sudden, this is be great. You get into your casual clothes, but it will impact upon you if you have been working in some sort of a uniform for many years. So just be aware of that. Another one is motivation. Now, a lot of people get used to going to work 9 to 5. It becomes a bit of a ritual. You don't have to think about it. It becomes fully automatic. So the company that you're working for determines exactly what you're doing, and you don't have to look after that part of it. And so you're given a certain role at work to play, and you do certain jobs, and you get into the routine, into the rhythm of it, and it becomes second nature. So now you're taken out of that environment and put yourself in an environment of working from home. And there's no routine. No one's telling you to start work at 9 o'clock. You don't have to punch on, as it were, at 9 o'clock and punch off at 5. Not anymore. Your time is flexible. And that can, you just got to be a bit of aware of that, especially if you're a very laid-back personality, which is called a phlegmatic in those personalities and those videos that I did for you. So you need to actually motivate yourself, and some people find it difficult to motivate themselves to go and to go and start work at that particular time, because it's a rainy day, I don't feel like it, I might sit around and read a book. No, you've actually got to motivate yourself and do the work that's required, because you need a goal. We haven't even talked about goals and what you're going to shoot for. But anyhow, I just want to touch upon the idea of motivation, where previously when you went to work, maybe for many years, you fitted into this little routine, this little ritual that was put upon you by your employer and the company that you work for, and now that is gone, and it is up to you to replace it. Another minor one is disruptions, where before you've gone to work, you've left home, and you're going to be working the 9 to 5, and if you had your own office, for example, and you at work, and you controlled your section or your department or whatever, perhaps, you can control your time. You can control the disruptions. If there will be a routine put up that you only took calls at a certain time, or whatever way that you actually did that in your office. But now that you're home, if your family is at home with you, there are going to be disruptions with young children, pets, animals, phones ring for personal calls. So there's lots of little things that will end up disrupting you in your new job, your new business, that wouldn't be there when you went and worked for the man at the office. So just be aware of that. You can set up procedures with your family. Okay, kids, Dad's going to go in when Dad is in his office, he's working, and please don't disturb him, or Mum, for that period of time. But yes, there's still other things that will come and go in your life. You just got to roll with it, and it's nothing major. It's just a minor thing about disruptions. Okay, the last one is about performance-based income. Now, I said performance-based income is a big plus. I regard it as a big plus. The harder you work, the more you get paid. So it's also a negative, performance-based income. Some people tend to be very insecure about this. The fact that they've, for many years, have worked at normal jobs and climbed a corporate ladder, and the idea of actually working in a business where you don't know how much you're going to get paid at the end of the week, especially in a new business, you mightn't get paid this month or next month or even the month after. So as you're building the business, no income, and you're drawing on your savings to do that. And for some people, that's pretty scary. So just be aware there is this idea of this performance-based income can impact on the way that you think. It's to do with taking you out of your comfort zone that you've been in for many years, and now it's up to you to put food on the table and pay the rent, sort of thing. So that can be really, really scary for some people. Okay, all right. Oh, look, there is one more that I just thought of, and it's actually to do with status. This is a bit unusual, but if you've been in the workforce for some time, you've been to university and you've been working for 10 or 20 years, and you've climbed the corporate ladder, you've reached a position where you have some authority, you have responsibility, you have staff working for you, which you control and lead. So you have status within the company, and you may have some perks with it, maybe even like a car and your phone paid for and things like that. And you've got a nice office. You start your home-based business, all that goes out the window. You've got no status. It's zero. So for some people, that's a bit, whoa, hang on a minute. I've gone to university. I've put all this work and time and extra study in and all those hours to climb the corporate ladder. And here I am, maybe in a job where I don't like, by the way. It's there's in a larger organisation there's a thing called a Peter principle. So go and look that one up, Peter principle. So you may have come to the point where that you've reached the peak, and you may be in the job that you really don't like, but it has status. So now if you quit, all that status is going to go out the window, and you're now you're starting from scratch again, and you'll never because there's no corporate ladder to climb anymore. You won't receive those perks and that status. So just be aware of that. And so let's just finish off with this. I'll give you three key points to just go away with when looking at a home-based business. The first one is, don't treat it like a hobby. It's a business. So many people, they think, oh, okay, this is a good idea, whatever it may be. I'll go and start that at home. And they really, what I call, poke a stick at it. Sort of like, we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Look, if you throw peanuts at it in your time and money, you'll get peanuts back. It's that way. It's the way of the world. You need to treat your business as a real business, and it will reward you. If you treat it like a hobby, well, you'll have fun playing around with your hobby. So that's the difference. So number one, treat it like a real business. Number two is set up a real office. Don't try to run your business from your dining room table, or have an office in your living room just tucked away in a corner, where people walking past, the family walking past or whatever, it's distracting. It's far better to have, if you've got a spare bedroom, or if you've got an area in the garage or whatever, set yourself up with a real workstation, just like the workstation that you would have had at the job. Okay, so it's really important to do that, because it sets you up in the right environment to get the most out of your business. Okay, so with our office, we've got two landlines. We've got a business landline, we've got a personal landline, we've got mobile phones, we've got a VoIP phone, internet phone, We got a fax. I've got 2 screens, and I've got a very fast computer. I like desktop computers. I've got laptops, of course, but I like desktop computers with a bit of grunt, as I call them. So yeah, so we've got that set up, and it works very well. And so just remember that one. Don't try to build a business from your dining room table, otherwise it becomes a hobby. Okay, if you want a real business, set up a real workplace. Look, the last one is don't quit your day job. Because you don't know how you're going to perform, you don't know how your business or how fast your business is going to take off, it is far better to actually slot your business in between your day job. And I know that you haven't got any spare time, so this is where you need to figure out where you're going to get that extra time to run your business. Wendy and I, as I said, don't watch TV. So you could take that normal television time and say, hey, okay, for a couple of hours a night, I'm going to be putting that time into my business. So don't quit your day job, and just give it some time as you're working your day job and your business, as I did all those years ago. As I said, it was 6 months before I realised that I could say, yes, this is going to be viable. So it's going to be the same for you. It's going to take a while before your business gets off the ground. Okay, look, that about wraps up this video. If you're keen about starting a home-based business, especially internet marketing and as we're doing with affiliate marketing, I suggest that you come on board with us and give it a go. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And all you've got to do is just click on the link below this video and come and join us. Put in your name and email address, and I'll personally send you some videos I'll personally send you some emails with some videos which will explain a lot more. All right, if you got value out of this video, please like, comment, and share. And I look forward to catching you in another video. Bye.